Have you ever wondered how physical sports, specifically sports like football or boxing, affects the brain? I mean, repeated head-to-head collisions can't be fun to deal with, and having those collisions, especially over the course of a career, will definitely create problems for the athlete's future outside of the sport. One of the largest problems that plague athletes, especially those that play contact sports, is CTE, which stands for Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy. CTE is a brain condition that comes from repeated head trauma, which explains the common prevalence in athletes such as Mike Tyson or Antonio Brown. Although they have not been officially diagnosed with the disease, it is more likely than not that they have developed, at least to a degree, CTE, which is exhibited in their decision-making and speech patterns. Symptoms such as the slurred speech of Mike Tyson and the erratic actions of Antonio Brown point to both of them having the disease, although it has not been officially confirmed yet. This is the scary part of CTE, because it can't actually be detected until after death, which makes it even harder to find the cure to the disease. CTE affects the brain in multiple ways. Firstly, when the brain gets hit, it releases this protein called tau. In small amounts, this protein is relatively harmless and actually helps to stabilize the brain cells, but when you repeatedly get hit on the head, the tau starts to clump together and these clumps spread throughout the brain. Eventually, the clumps tangle and it leads to the deaths of brain cells. Secondly, areas like the frontal lobe of the brain, which is responsible for decision-making, the temporal lobe, which is responsible for memory, and the amygdala, which is responsible for emotion, shrink over time in patients affected by CTE. In the late stages, it can seem as if an 80-year-old's brain is in a 30-year-old's head. Lastly, it can lead to disrupted communications between the neurons. What does this mean? It means a confusion within the brain, which leads to symptoms such as mood swings, depression, memory loss, and rage, which is shown in the previous example of Antonio Brown. As MMA and football grow in popularity, especially with younger kids dreaming hoisting the Lombardi Trophy or UFC belts being wrapped around their waists, we have to ask, is it worth the risk? What's the cost of chasing greatness when your brain might pay the price?
Be such a prevalent issue in football and not boxing?
Football is the most dangerous sport in the world. Boxing is pretty strange because the guy keeps getting hit in the head and it's just there, but it's a lot in boxing.
Like a brain rattling.
Aneurysms will kill you. An aneurysm bust and your brain is boom, it's over.
Okay.
Normally, they receive the aneurysm from another accident, maybe a car accident or something, and they go into the fight hurt, and normally that's the cause of death in the ring. And they shorten the rounds too because they estimated most of the fights that people died in went past the 13th round. So that's why they took
That's how they got from 15
to 12.
Got it.